We have never seen Jack Stewart like this before. Homegirl really said enough is enough. And Lewis refuses to take his foot up off of Jack's neck. What's good, y'all? Sugar Sis Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with a Reasonable Doubt video. And this is a new series alert to the channel. I really enjoyed season 1 and I had to come back and make sure that I do episode by episode breakdowns here for you for season 2. So alas, here we are. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss out on my Reasonable Doubt videos. And then I also will be going live to talk about each new episode that we get on Hulu. If you're not new, welcome back, boo. Welcome over to the Reasonable Doubt Conversations. And let's go ahead and start off with Miss Jax, our protagonist, who is in therapy. We are 2 months out from the season finale of season 1 after we got her being saved, rescued, if you will, from the hands of Damon Cook, the fine Mr. Michael Ealy, who played Damon Cook, who was definitely given a few screws that was loose, but he loved her. And y'all, I'm going to have to continue to process my attachment to the toxicity that was that man, because he definitely did some diabolical things to her. And she is really in this season with the trauma of that act towards the end of that season. And it totally makes sense. In this episode, we get to see Shanelle, one of her best friends, had enough with JT and the abuse and the cheating and all of that, and she winds up killing him. Now we get a preview in the very first part of the episode where we get to see JT is still alive and begging for her to call, and she's just standing there not doing anything, basically letting him bleed out because she didn't had enough. But once Jax gets involved and she calls Jax, she lets her know, like, yes, I called 911 and I called you, like, I didn't know what was going on. So it's not really clear by the end of this episode, did she do this on purpose, or was this actually self-defense and a crime of passion, as she is alluding to? We're going to spend this season trying to figure it out. And the best part about it is Jax starts off taking on her friend's case because this is her friend and she can't let her friend go to jail. So of course, but then by the end, she realized that her growth is at stake, her health is at stake, her peace is at stake, because she is still recovering from the trauma that she experienced by the hands of Damon, as well as the trauma that she was experiencing emotionally with separating from Lewis last season and all that came with her damn job. The whole Lewis hating her job and hating her throwing herself back into her work, it does present again in this episode. However, her being able to make a choice of, like, I'm not going to actually take Shanelle's case, I'm going to call somebody else in, which is Corey, played by Chestnut, that we see at the very end with a very interesting introduction into the series. Hello, Backshots. Well, all right. And this is definitely going to add additional conflict, a little bit of layered nuance, and maybe he's 100% capable of getting Shanelle off. But a part of me feels like he used to get Jax off too, and Lewis ain't gonna like this. The way that man threw that girl up out of his house the moment that he saw that Jax was calling. Oh yeah, if this is Jax's old thing, she can 100% have that back. And I don't necessarily know if I would be mad at that, but I'm trying to figure it out. Jax and Lewis are in couples counseling because they are going to fight for their marriage. He is staying over a little bit more, but he hasn't moved back in yet. The kids want her to go back to work, but you know that Lewis has not wanted her to work for quite a while because he wants more of her time. And I want to, like, be in line with Lewis. I want to hear him out. I want to root for him. But part of me gives, like, or feels like he gets bitch when he starts talking and he gets the whining. And I'm just like, sir, enough, because you didn't have no problem with her working all these billable hours and becoming partner when you was getting into your career as a gamer and or a game developer, and now you're making 6 figures. Cool, but there was a time where she did carry y'all financially and you ain't had no problems with that. Like, I need Lewis to whine less and help her more, meet her where she's at, because Jax is definitely doing the best that she can. And even in this first episode, I feel like she's a little bit less insufferable. Like, throughout season 1, I was just like, okay, girl, I was rooting for you, but you also be your own worst enemy, nightmare, all of that. But this episode, it just felt so good, and not good, but it resonated so much in how typically Black women who have any type of power, who have any type of poise, have any type of positioning, understanding, perspective, or whatever, and deeply care for their loved ones, whether it's friends or family, have to put on a cape and go to bat for them when they get themselves into certain circumstances. And watching Jax suffer through multiple panic attacks and anxiety attacks while also switching back into her mode of lawyer and like, no, you cannot question my client. Did you actually read her Miranda rights? Did you do this? Did you do that? But then also having a damn panic attack outside, I was like, yo, I feel that so hard, because there's countless times where I have experienced having to flip the switch and like be the boss, be the leader, be the person who is on it and who can speak to this and speak to that. But then inside, or once I get back in my car, it's like a breakdown that happens, because sometimes it is all too much. But watching Jax navigate it and go in and out of it, I felt like it was such a very authentic portrayal of what a lot of like boss women, leader women, women who, again, tend to put on a cape to try to save the ones that they love and or themselves, what it actually looks like. And I don't think I've actually gotten to see a really great visual personification of what the feelings feel like, actually see them play out in a series like they did in this episode. And then that also speaks to how beautifully shot the whole episode was. Like, I really, really enjoy it. It's so funny because I'm sitting here and I'm watching an episode with one of my best friends, so like we also added in commentary, and she struggled with how slow it was at the beginning. But I think that this season, or at least the premiere episode of this season, is kind of resetting the board, and that they close out so many storylines at the end of last season. They really kind of have to do kind of like a reintroduction, and that's what this episode felt like. But I don't feel like it's not enjoyable. I feel like it's reintroducing us to Jax, but she's also a very different woman while also still maintaining a lot of qualities that make her the same, which is a very interesting little mock. Lewis feels very much so the same. I think that they swapped out the little daughter because I don't recognize her, but that's just like a little casting thing. And her little homie down at the DA office is taken off of the case because clearly he is compromised. And little Miss Ronda Rousey, I don't know this little white lady name, but I don't like her. And the way that she said, "You people, I ain't like that," it gave hard ER, ma'am. And you can get your Ronda Rousey's ass kicked. You certainly can. 100%. Now, also, we get a quick moment where Jax gets a call from her mama, and her mama is, I guess, living her best life now that her husband died. And I'm just like, I still haven't been able to let go of the fact that her mama knew, or pretended like she didn't know, or subconsciously forgot that her husband was sexually assaulting Jax. So I still got heat and got smoke for mama, and mama calling ain't talk about nothing, just gossiping about Facebook, and this is her actual friend. Ma'am, if you don't get off my goddamn phone, I know that you my mama, but please get off my damn phone with this bullshit you talking. Because absolutely the hell not, Miss Mamas. Now again, y'all, I'm still trying to figure out if I want Jax and Lewis to make it. I struggle with them as a couple, but I do like the idea of him fighting for her and him being in it and him deeply desiring her, because y'all know it just does something for me when I get to see Black women be flawed and men still want them anyway, and not just throw them aside and not perpetuate the goofy ass narrative that we typically get of how we have to be strong and we have to be perfect and we have to be poised to be loved, but we can just be ourselves and be deeply desired and loved. Yeah, I'm interested to see more of Jax's therapy sessions, but I don't know if she's going to actually keep going now that first episode picks up with her final episode and according to the treatment that was prescribed to her for the trauma. And then in this episode, we also get to see she gets greenlit to go back to work, and she goes ahead and like takes the green light versus leaning into the therapist who said, if you don't want me to green light you, I won't. She's like, no, it's okay, it's fine, because again, Black women love to be a damn superhero. So it's interesting. And then I think part of it is her fear of like losing ground and losing power or positioning within the law firm. Yes, she's a partner, but the way that they were acting in that damn conference room, as if her saying that she wanted to dial back her billable hours was the worst thing in the world, and she basically said that she wanted to quit, was beyond me. And them little white people do not seem to understand what this woman needs. They want her to come in and get back to making winning cases and billing out multiple hours, and they could care less about her damn health. And I low-key like want her to, I guess, go on her own and figure out what the balance is going to look like, which I think we could be getting the beginnings of that, because at the end of the episode, when she decides that she's not going to be Shanelle's lawyer, she is accepting and acknowledging the fact that she has to be able to choose herself. She has to be able to prioritize herself, her feelings, and her health. And by not taking her friend's case, that's going to be the way that she does that. That's everything that I can recall that went down, y'all. I enjoyed the first episode, and I'm about to watch the second. Let me know your thoughts, theories, and prediction about the episode, but specifically your thoughts about this first episode. Who's your favorite character in the series? What's some questions that you have? Drop all of that in the comment section down below. It's your good sis you love to talk TV with, and I'm gonna see you in my next one.